Big Guy Fitness Day 4. We're really doing this. To piggyback on yesterday's topic of consistency, here we are again, being consistent. Yesterday was a little hiccupy, rough day, but got through it. Today's much better. Woke up, the sun out right away instead of waiting until 12 o'clock and hiding from us. So it's another beautiful sunny day in California. It's about 10:30 on Thursday, the 24th of July, and it is nice to be alive. So today I think I'm going to talk about the second best thing that I found to lose weight and lose fat. And you all know the first thing that I think is important is diet. You cannot out-exercise a diet, they say, which is so true. For about 3 years, I was playing so much tennis, and I was about 200 and biggest I was 216, and I'm 5'10". So I got down to about 208, 205, and I just stuck around that area for a long time. But I was playing so much tennis, and I was thinking, man, I'm not eating terrible, and I'm getting so much exercise in, like high intensity tennis several times a day. And I just wasn't losing weight, I was just sticking around. And two of those issues were my diet. I mean, if you saw my place, I used to always make a joke when I went to the cash register at the grocery store. I was like, there's not a single nutrition on this belt. Like, it was all stupid cakes and cookies and sugars. A lot of sugars. I just had a sweet tooth, and when anything new came out, they marketed it perfectly for me. I would see it and I'd be like, yeah, I need to try this. And the problem was I didn't eat it all and in mass all the time. Like, it wasn't something I was gorging on 24 hours a day. It was always in my system. Every 2 hours, 3 hours, I'd take a piece of candy. And all those things are little insulin spikes throughout the day. Again, this is about the second best thing to do, but changing diet is definitely the first best thing to do. And intermittent fasting is what I found that worked the best. Immediately lost tons of weight without anything else, without any exercise or anything. So the second best thing, which I'd almost hold up tied to the first best thing, which I never gave any credence to, is walking. Most people are like, oh, you got to exercise and go to the gym and you got to pump and you got to do all this and you got to sweat. And nope, not at all. That is important for building muscle, especially after you're 40 and in our 50s, which this is all about. But man, walking is insanely healthy, and it will drop pounds like you don't believe. I didn't believe. So literally, I went overboard like I do with everything when I get into something, especially when you start seeing a little bit of results. And I was seeing results immediately. I would drop 2-3 pounds off a week. I was in a phase where I was losing almost 5 pounds a week for about 4 weeks. It was crazy. There were times where I lost 7 pounds a week. And then, of course, I'd eat something on the weekend and I gained 3 back. So it was always a fluctuation. But the walking, there's a few rules to this and a few things you'll discover. That walking slow, there's they call them zones. So zone 1, 2, and 3. Zone 1 is where you're just really getting up and moving. You're not really at any specific pace. And that's good for definitely getting up, going. But if you really want to burn fat, you want to be in zone 2, which is just pushing yourself a little to where, as you can see, I'm having a hard time talking a little, which could be annoying on these videos, but whatever. But yeah, so you're walking. For me, I find it's about a 13.5 minute mile pace. So I basically do 1 mile in 13 and a half minutes, which means in 1 hour, which I do basically an hour walk, it's 4.5, almost 5 miles. So what I was doing was I'd wake up in the morning. First thing I do, roll out of bed. I'd literally just throw on some clothes, obviously no shirt. Well, that came later. And when you start seeing some gains and happy with yourself, plus you want to get a suntan and get that vitamin D, first thing in the morning, put on the shorts, the shoes, tuck the shirt in the pants, so I have it just in case I get arrested or and they tell me to put on a shirt. Yeah, so that's what I do. Get out and I just walk 4 miles, 4.5 miles, get the vitamin D, go home. Then I do my exercise and workout. That's what I'm doing now. Before I wasn't. Before I literally just did that walk. And then I'd go through my day doing my stuff, and in 2 hours or so I'd do another walk. And then I'd keep doing that cycle. And I was up to like 4-5 mile walks a day. So I was doing basically almost a little under 20 miles a day. That's a lot. It's excessive. I wouldn't do that again. That was me thinking, I gotta get this now. I gotta burn this fat, get my goal in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's so stupid. It was fun, but I did get burned out very quickly. Maybe 2 months into it, I saw some great gains. But the problem with that too is you see these good gains, but then you also see something happening, especially if you're not lifting weights or doing any other exercise, you lose muscle too. So if you're intermittent fasting and walking, you're gonna lose a lot of muscle, especially over 40. So you end up thinning out, and it looks great, it feels great, but then what happens is you end up looking what they call skinny fat. So you got a little fat around the belly, you got this stuff hanging over, right? And that's the hardest part on a guy to lose. That's usually the last thing to lose. And yeah, it starts discouraging you a little because you're like, oh, well, I look thinner, but I don't look that great. I look weird. So you got to parse that in your mind and figure out how to get over that hump. But what I was saying about the walking is, man, it just falls off. Like intermittent fasting was amazing, or even just changing my diet to a clean diet. That's what started. Just changed to, instead of eating all that crap, I just ate chicken breasts, grilled onions. There's a whole diet that I went through at first that you cut everything out and then you try and find what keeps your body inflamed. This is a totally other subject, but the only way to find that out is to test it. So lean chicken wasn't doing anything. It was great for me. Protein wasn't too many calories. It was great lean food with some olive oil and black pepper, a little bit of salt. I don't care about the little salt swelling you up a little, but I wouldn't eat really anything else. And then one day I'd eat some broccoli with it. And if I wasn't losing the same 2.5, 3 pounds, whatever it was at that time, then I'd know the broccoli is an inflammatory for me. Cauliflower, broccoli, all those things are really great, but some people, it's more of an inflammatory than others. So I would realize it's not that. Once I found out broccoli was an inflammatory for me and paused my losing weight a little bit, I would just know on that day not to expect certain results. It wasn't I was going to cut it out. I wouldn't eat as much of it as I normally might. But so these are the lessons you learn with your food and your diet. When it comes to the walking, you don't have to do too much. They say between 5,000-10,000 steps is amazing. Once you start getting to 15,000 steps, That's really good too, but exponentially, you don't get as much gain as you would. So I was getting up to 30,000 steps in my walks constantly, 26 to 30,000 steps, I went up to 40,000 on one day. I mean, this is a lot. It's time consuming. It's not necessary at all. So the best thing you can do is just get out and get moving. The more you can move, the better. They say if you go to the store, instead of parking in the closest spot, just force yourself to park further away. So you get some extra steps in on a daily. You don't have to actually go for a walk where you plan out a path and you do it for an hour. You can do it a little throughout the day. So when you go to the grocery store, just walk down every aisle. Try and do it at a decent pace. It may look a little silly. One guy, one time I was walking by, he goes, "That's an intense pace, buddy." He said, "I like it though." But yeah, you got to get your legs moving. You got to get your body moving. And the reason why I was walking so much was because I'd find myself sitting around doing stuff on the couch. And after, an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm like, man, I got to get up. I got to get a little sun and get out. So move those legs, get the steps in, and I guarantee, well, can't guarantee, but I will guarantee, because it worked, and it keeps working right now. You will lose a couple pounds a week easily. You don't have to. The big takeaway from this is, I always thought you had to do high intensity training, like HIIT training, or running, or at least jogging. And being 200 pounds at 50 years old, that's hard on your knees, really hard on your knees. One thing I'll discuss at another time is they say there's every pound of weight you lose 3 pounds of pressure on your joints. So my knees were getting crushed from playing tennis and walking and running a little bit. That's why I stopped running. I started like a week of running instead of just walking. I was like, I can't do this. It hurts so bad. And the swelling, inflammation, the downtime. So when I lost 40 pounds, that's 120 pounds of pressure on my knees. I haven't had knee pain since the second month of doing this. It's crazy. I was just starting to buy braces for my knees, and I remember every time I'd feel good after tennis, but then the minute I sat down and got up, I'd start walking like Frankenstein. Like, it hurt so badly. That weight is just too much pressure for you. And with these walks, just if you skip some, again, with everything, if you miss one day, or you want to do 2 a day, who cares? Just get back on it whenever you can, but make sure it's a lifestyle change. I've been doing this for about 6-7 months now. Lost over 40 pounds, started incorporating some weightlifting. Everything feels better. To me, it looks, if you saw what it was before, which maybe at some point I'll incorporate a picture or something of where I was. But yeah, it was not pretty. So I hope everybody's having an amazing day. Stay consistent. Make sure you don't try and outdo a diet. You got to change that diet a little. Make sure you look up some videos on intermittent fasting. I'll talk a lot more about that, because that is definitely the biggest key to this. But this walking thing, check out some of the shorts I'm going to post about some of the downsides to intermittent, or for walking. There are a couple of them. They're avoidable, and one of the main ones is blisters on your feet. It is devastating. It hurts so bad, and especially if you're walking 4 times a day, 3 times a day, you don't have the right shoes, you don't double sock or whatever. Man, I dealt with so many blisters. I'd have like 6 blisters on each foot every day, and I try not to pop them because it's supposedly bad. You might get an infection, but eventually you just have to. And I had so many band-aids on my feet at once. I'd have 3 on one foot, 2 on another. My heel was always jacked up, but I'd keep fighting through it. And then I'd start walking weird, and my pace of my walk would slow down. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna do a whole little short about that. So check those out. Thank you guys for looking at this. Subscribe, write some comments. I'd like to talk to some people and not be alone in this journey. And hope everyone's having a good day, and we'll see you Friday for the end of the week.